Hello and welcome to Rouse IAS Mains Quality Improvement Program, a series of video lectures curated to handhold you through your mains answer writing journey. Now in this session, we shall take up a question on the topic of Indian polity and governance. So now in front of us is the question we'll be discussing in this session. Now this question reads, highlight the major challenges to good governance in the 21st century India. Suggest initiatives taken in the recent years to overcome these challenges. Now this is a 15-marker question, that is 250 words. Now in order to discuss this question, first we'll try to understand why a question of this type has been framed. How this question is related to the UPSC style of question making, and why is this particular theme, that is good governance in the 21st century, important from the point of view of mains of 2020. Next, we will try to decode the question so as to understand the demand of the question and be able to answer the question holistically. This we'll be doing by dividing the question into subparts and then addressing each part one by one. Now in the third part, we shall try to make a sample answer for the question discussed. Now while creating a sample answer, we'll try to understand the issue and its various dimensions. Further, we'll try to adopt a balanced conclusion at the end of the answer. Finally, the fourth point is the review of the answer. Now once we have discussed the answer, we shall try to review our answer based on our objective evaluation parameter, so as to understand if this answer fails well on these objective grounds and will we be able to satisfy all these important parameters. So now based on these 4 steps, let us start with our session. So now beginning with the first part of our discussion, let us try to first understand what part of the UPSC syllabus does this question really belong to. Now this question talks about good governance in the 21st century India. Now governance is a subtopic of the General Studies paper 2. Now a lot of questions have been asked in the past from the governance section of the syllabus. Let us have a look at these questions. So now in 2018, a question was asked that read, e-governance is not about utilization of power of new technology, but also much about critical importance of the use value of information. Now this question dwelled upon the e-governance aspect of governance, that is electronic governance. Further, there was another question in 2017 that read, hunger and poverty are the biggest challenges for the good governance in India still today. Evaluate how far successive governments have progressed in dealing with these humongous problems. Suggest measures for improvement. Now again this question related with good governance of India. Now clearly these two topics have been asked in the past and are important from the UPSC examiner's point of view. Now this question revolves around the good governance point. Now while this question of good governance talked about the problems such as hunger and poverty and how far have the governments been able to progress with this problem, this question deals with the good governance in the 21st century India. And what are the steps that have been taken by the government in the recent times to overcome these challenges? So this question has a bit of a positive connotation, while this question discussed more about the problems and if those problems have been able to find their solutions. Now let us try to understand why this particular topic is important from the mains of 2020 per se. So now in the December of 2019, a PIB news talked about the launch of Good Governance Index. Now this index has been scientifically designed on various parameters by the Ministry of Personal Public Grievances and Pensions. Now the idea of Good Governance Index involves comparing various states with regard to the initiative they are taking in this direction, so as to facilitate cooperative and competitive federalism in India. Now, Good Governance Index basically revolves around the major initiatives that are being taken at center and the state level. Thus, the initiatives of the recent times have become very important, and hence we have framed a question of this form. Given the government at the time is discussing the ideas of good governance, thus it automatically becomes important from the mains of 2020. Now, the news about the Good Governance Index and in general good governance in the 21st century India was covered in the Focus magazine of the January 2020. You may have a look so as to gather points about this topic. Now, moving on to the next aspect. Let us begin decoding the question. Now, in order to do so, let us first try to read the question multiple times so as to be able to identify the important keywords and be able to divide the question into various subparts. Now, in order to do so, it is important to keep in mind the question tag that has been given in the question. So, now let's begin decoding the question. So, the question reads, highlight the major challenges to the good governance in the 21st century India. Now, highlight here is the question tag, and the question is asking about what are the major challenges to the good governance in the 21st century India. So, good governance becomes an important keyword here. Further, the question reads, suggest initiative taken in the recent years to overcome these challenges. So, another important keyword here becomes is initiative and in the recent years. So, now based on these keywords, let us try to understand what shall be the various subparts to this question. So, now the first important subpart is the major challenges to the good governance. Second important subpart is the major initiative taken in the recent years. Now, this is a fairly straightforward question. Let us try to write introduction, body, conclusion for this answer. Now, in the introduction, we begin with defining the most important keyword, that is good governance. Now, in the body, we try to address the first part of the question, that is the challenges to good governance in the 21st century. Now, further, we try to address the second part of the question, that is the recent step taken to overcome these challenges. And finally, we reach on to the conclusion, wherein we try to suggest some more innovative steps that can be put to use to overcome these challenges and to bring about good governance in the 21st century India. Now, this is the framework. Based upon this, let us try to construct a sample answer. Now, in the introduction, we begin by defining good governance. Here we are using the definition by the World Bank because this is one of the most authentic sources. So, now this definition reads, the World Bank defines good governance as the manner in which power is exercised in the management of a country's economic and social resource for development. Now, this is a fairly straightforward definition. It further reads, it encompasses democracy, transparency, accountability, which are the major yardsticks to measure the effectiveness and the responsiveness of administration. Now, one smart thing that was done here is that in the second para, we have tried to incorporate all the important keywords that are generally associated with good governance. Now, all the international websites and platforms. Now, these international websites such as the World Bank, UN commonly accept the 8 acceptable parameters of good governance that are accountable, transparent, responsive, equitable and inclusive, effective and efficient, follows rule of law, participatory and consensus oriented. Now, in this para, we have tried to include these key parameters that are generally associated with good governance, and this gives authenticity to your answer and a slight bit academic touch. Now, since this was a 250 words question, we had chosen to write a para about it. Further, had this been a 150 marker question, it would be wiser to adopt a diagrammatical approach because these do not consume any words and also they look good And this is how approach changes for writing a 250-word answer vis-a-vis suppose a 150-word answer that is of 10 mark. Now herein we have tried to conclude our introduction in 44 words. Now moving on to the body part, we try to address the first part of the question, that is challenge to good governance in the 21st century. Now as you would notice, we have exactly taken the heading from the question. Now this is very important because it gives examiner the impression that you have written what was actually asked in the question. Now beginning with the challenges, the first challenge is corruption. Now India ranks 80th out of 180 countries on the Corruption Perception Index, which is very poor and a major cause of bad governance in the country. Further, problems such as criminalization of politics. Now the nexus between politics and the criminals is one of the greatest problems of our times, and ADR, that is Association of Democratic Reform study, suggests that 43% of the Lok Sabha members are facing criminal charges, which is a grave concern for our country. Now here it is important to use these data points so as to emphasize your points further. Now moving on to the next challenge, that is delay in the justice delivery system. Now in India, the fear of persecution is reducing day by day as the cases pending with the judiciary are rising every day. Presently, 3.5 crore cases remain pending in various courts of India, which is a grave concern to the governance system of the country. Now the next important challenge is the centralization of the administrative system. Because of lack of adequate devolution of power, most of the power is concentrated at the top, and this feeds onto a red tapist and a bureaucratic culture wherein everything is decided at the top and power is limited in the hands of the few individuals. Such tendencies enhance the corruption and the criminalization of politics further. Now moving on to the next challenge, that is low awareness with respect to rights and duties among citizenry. Now lack of adequate knowledge about their rights and duties prevents citizens from holding the erring government servants accountable, and thus this further enhances the problem of corruption, criminalization of politics and red tapeism. The last and important challenge is ineffective implementation of law. Now there are a lot of important laws that have been put to keep corruption and criminalization of politics in check. Due to unholy nexus between politicians, bureaucrats and criminals, these laws are not implemented properly and remain ineffective in nature. Now let us try to see what are the recent initiatives that have been taken by the government to overcome these challenges. So now we will address the second part of the question, that is the recent steps to overcome these challenges. So the first and the most important recent step is creation of the Ombudsman, that is the anti-corruption institutions such as the Lokpal and the Lok Ayukta. After a lot of struggle, these acts have seen the light of the day, and hence it is hoped that this will help reduce corruption and enhance good governance in the country. Further, the next step is promotion of transparency through laws such as Right to Information Act and devices such as Citizen Charter. Now, by adequately informing the citizen of their rights and duties, transparency and openness is being infused in the system that shall help in long run to enhance the good governance of the country. Further, the mediums such as the e-governance, that is through the digitalization of the processes, that is the JAM Trinity as in case of the direct benefit as used in the LPG subsidy. These are further enhancing governance system because it is preventing leakages and corruption and is ensuring the benefits go directly in the account of the beneficiary without any leakages. Further is promotion of cooperative and competitive federalism. Now by creating cooperation and competition between states, and between states and center, Niti Aayog is trying to infuse a new spirit with respect to the governance of the country. Now it has launched various rankings such as the Delta ranking, SDG ranking, the Good Governance Index recently launched. These will help go a long way in infusing the much needed spirit of cooperation and competition within the states of India. Now moving to the next point, that is outcome based budgeting. Now the Union government in the budget of 2017-18 shifted the focus from outlays to outcomes. Now initially government only measured the funds that were given and it did not take into account the benefits that those investments were bringing to the government. Now the government is resorting to the outcome based budgeting. For every scheme or program of the government, the outcomes will also be measured. Now this will be a great step in the process of good governance as it will enhance transparency, accountability and openness in the system. Further, it also aims to enhance participation of civil society and grassroots institutions through mechanisms such as social audit. Now, social audit is a mechanism wherein the beneficiary are made to keep in check what are the outcomes that are reported by the bureaucrats and what is actually delivered on the ground. And this gap that was earlier never brought to notice is finally being brought to notice, and these flaws in the scheme and the program are being timely filled such that the efficiency and the effectiveness of these schemes are seen to be increasing. Now the last important step is administrative reform in terms of the lateral entry recently introduced by the government. Now the lateral entry is being used to infuse competitive spirit in the bureaucracy and to enhance meritocracy and reduce complacency in the system that has grown over the years. Now these are the important steps that have been taken in the recent years and that are yielding results. Now moving on to the next part, we try to suggest few more measures that can be taken to further enhance the good governance in the country, especially in the 21st century. That is establishment of a grievance redressal authority. Now a lot of time citizens have a lot of grievances against the public authority holders, but often there is no platform to bring out these grievances. And hence such a platform will be helpful to resolve all the issues that the citizenry face and helps enhance the governance in the country. Now another important step that needs to be undertaken is to include regular sensitivity training to those holding public office. Now this is important because people who hold public offices often are seen to be becoming less sensitive over time. And this is scientifically proved that regular sensitivity training shall help a whole deal in enhancing the governance setup of the country, given they become freshly infused with the sense of service yet again as they were at the initial stage of their career. Finally, moving on to the conclusion bit. We suggest, as summarized by Economic Survey 2017, good governance is perhaps the single most important factor for achieving equality, convergence of various initiatives, productive use of resources, and efficient public service delivery. And with this high point, we try to conclude our answer, giving an extremely objective and forward-looking conclusion. And especially here we have quoted Economic Survey 2017. Now aspirants must make note of this thing. Most of the time quoting such authentic reports can get you at least 1 to 2 mark of brownie points. So with this we come to the end of our discussion of the sample answer. Now moving to the next aspect, that is answer review. Now beginning with the first parameter, that is answer relevancy. Now in this video we have dwelled upon this in detail, hence we do not need to dwell on this again, for our sample answer were as per the demand of the question. Now the second important parameter is answer enrichment. Now in our answer we had tried to include a lot of reports from Niti Aayog, from Economic Survey, and even we had quoted Union Budget of 2017-18. Further, we had also made use of a lot of examples. We had made use of LPG subsidy, delta ranking, and SDG index also. And hence, we had made a lot of answer enrichment points in a sample answer. Now, the next important parameter is that of structure. Again, in our answer, we had made use of introduction, body, conclusion approach. Further, with respect to presentation, we had made use of highlighting, use of heading, subheading, and point-wise approach. And hence, our answer looked very neat and clean and was inviting for the examiner. The next aspect is language and grammar. In our answer, we had tried to use short and crisp sentences and had tried to keep our language very simple. And finally, the word limit. Our answer was 250 plus minus 10-15% variation, as we always stick to. And hence, our answer failed well with respect to these parameters. So with this, we come to the end of our discussion. Thank you.